Okay, so I'm having, this is a recording of me making some of the snails that you see in the current clip. This is me finishing one, and then the rest of the video is going to be me starting on one right out of the mold. I made a mold out of plaster, so that's the finished one. Here's the new one. I made a mold out of plaster by, I mixed the plaster, and then I made my positive shape, which is what I started with, and then I put that on a plastic surface and fenced it in, and then clamped all the fences together so it was as tight as it could be, and then I sealed all of the edges with clay, and then I oiled everything up, poured in the plaster, let it harden, and then I took everything apart and cleaned it, and then I sanded down the plaster and took out the positive and cleaned it all so that the corners would be rounded and there would be no loose plaster so that I could start putting clay in there. I've casted a bunch of these snails because I started the project a few weeks ago. I wanted to learn more about like different ways to finish clay projects, and so I made the mold and I'm making all of these different snails because I think that they're really cute and they have meaning to me. Because after my sister died, my dad he really liked the meaning of snails in relation to that, with like how they kind of represent like rebirth, and like how it's like she's not like she just moved into a different place and his life just moved into a different place, and like the way that that applies not only to like a death but just all different kinds of change, and how snails like represented that somehow. I don't really know much about it, but I know that they did have meaning, and so I thought that it was cute, but it could also be meaningful because lots of different people can find meaning in that common message where you don't lose things, they just change. And so yeah, I liked it, and I'm gonna try and glaze them. I'm gonna try different types of like underglazing on the different colors and maybe painting or something like that. But I'm making 5 out of red clay, 5 out of white raku clay, and 5 out of white clay. And then, yeah, we'll see how that goes. I was thinking about like, if I understand them well enough, and then there's a point in the future where I want to like sell art, like I'm still making art, like I'm in college for it, or I'm part of an art studio or something like that, and I want to sell something with whatever I'm doing. I don't know what. I could easily probably make a lot of these, which is why I'm really grateful for the opportunity to like learn how to be better at it, like make them structurally sound and make them like consistently good and creative, and like what is the best, like safest and best looking way to finish them, so that if I did choose to sell them, I wouldn't be like doing a disservice to whoever I was selling them to, because I'm learning how to like make something of quality. The one that the video is of me making is definitely like probably the least quality one I've made, because there were some air pockets in the clay whenever I put it into the mold, and so it would like chip in places as I was shaping it, and that wasn't good. But it still turned out pretty good, I think. Yeah, so I appreciate this experience a lot, and I also think that it's made me think about how anybody can do it. Like, if I was selling something, it wouldn't be, like, the marketing point wouldn't be, you're buying this thing that only this one person can make, and it's, like, special and rare. Because it's not. Anybody can make this, and I think that anybody can make most art. It's just, I'm the one that's doing it. And I see it all the time when, like, I go in public and, to a clothing shop or something, and there's something like a crochet or a knit sweater, and I see it and I'm like, I don't need to buy that because I can make that myself, because I could, it's just I'm choosing not to. And so instead, I know I'm not going to devote my time to that because it's not what I'm passionate about, and so I'll give my money to the artist or the sweatshop worker or whoever that made the crochet sweater, because even though I could, I'm not the one that's doing it. And so I think that it would be a similar thing with these snails, where it's like they're cute and they're colorful, and a lot of people that I've shown them to really like them and said that they would like one. And it's like kids in sculpture, like kids who could really easily do this exact same thing, but they're not, because they just have other things that they're interested in, and other things that they want to spend their class period doing, and other things that they want to spend their time learning to do. And so if they want one, then they're more likely to buy it from me if I chose to sell them at some point than they would be to figure out how to make one themselves, because it's just like not what they want to devote their time to, and I think that it's not what most people want to devote their time to, which is why it works, and I just think that that's cool and interesting. I really, really like them. I like making them. They're simple and small, and there's something like some sort of like instant gratification that I get from completing one, because it does take me a while. I think this video was like maybe 40 minutes long before I cut some parts out and I sped everything up. I'm adding on the little like the dangly face bits right now. But then the class ended, and so I put it away, and then I revisited it today in my class period, and every single one of those knobs broke off, and I had to score and slip them all back on, and I did not get a recording of that, but it takes a while, and but like no more than 2 class periods, I think, which is like 3 hours probably. And then there's just like the process of getting everything else done, because they just have to wait to be cooked, and then I cook them, and then I glaze them, and then I cook them again, and then they're done. But all of those steps take like a long time, because it's mostly waiting time, because I wait a long time for my things to dry. That is all. Goodbye. Here are the